And welcome into the beautiful sun-splashed field here at One Oak as we get set to bring you the first leg of the 2019 edition of the Black Gold Derby. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Jeremy Poplin, joined by Dave Saunders. And Dave, we can go down the list of the classic derbies from across the world, whether it's El Clasico or the Merseyside Derby. There is just not a better feel in the world than when two local rivals match up.
You know, Pop, when the fixtures come out, it's the first one you look at. Who are your local rivals? When's that derby game going to be? And it's right here, right now, for tonight's game at One Oak.
And what a setting that we have for you. And this, quite frankly, is a series that's been dominated by Oklahoma City. 9-3-3 is the record since the Roughnecks came into the league. It's very important to get that victory in the very first leg. And what do the Roughnecks have to do, in your opinion, tonight, Dave?
Well, I think they need to carry on as they have been at One Oak, which is making it some kind of a fortress. And if they can keep a clean sheet, you know, and get that all-important first goal, then there's your win right there. But it's going to be tough tonight. Both teams are going to want to win this one.
And Oklahoma City, from their perspective, really rounding into form. They've had the same starting 11 the last two matches in a row. Will it be three? We'll find out. You mentioned the very first goal of the night and how important that is as we move into our player highlights. Cody Larendi in the net tonight for Oklahoma City. He's been one of the best keepers in all of USL and the first clean sheet of the season last week. He's very important to Oklahoma City.
He's a massive, imposing figure. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. I agree with you. He's one of the best that I've seen in the USL. He will be very, very difficult to beat tonight.
Let's move on to the Roughneck side as we highlight Cyprian Hedrick. How important is it, Dave, to having been a part of Oklahoma City and now a part of the Tulsa side to be able to kind of set that tone with the players in the locker room?
Well, exactly that. He starts in the locker room and he goes around, he looks people in the eye and he says, this is a derby game. I've played on both sides. I want to win it for the Roughnecks tonight. So he is a massive figure on the field. One of the best centre-backs in the league.
Roughnecks sitting in third place currently. Oklahoma City right there on the outside trying to get into that top 8, but it is a crowded bunch there with multiple teams. They're tied with 10 overall points. The weather is absolutely spectacular. 80 degrees throughout the afternoon here in Tulsa, and we'll be close to that when we get set for kickoff. And when we come back after this break, the starting 11 as we bring you the very first leg of the Black Gold Derby live from downtown Tulsa.
My name is Abigail Bailey. I was at my yearly checkup when I was 12, and we went and got x-rays, and she diagnosed me with scoliosis and that we needed surgery as soon as possible.
Tulsa Bone and Joint was very compassionate. They took their time with us. They answered questions. He was very encouraging.
Dr. Clark helped me see that there is life after spinal fusion. Just because your spine is fused doesn't mean that you can't do what you love to do.
I'm Chad Smith with Becco Contractors. As an employer, we're always worried about new employees coming to the job and not being aware of their surroundings and just not knowing what they're really doing because it's a new job site. So the partnership with Tulsa Tech has really helped us take that worry out of the equation. We know that they're fully trained and ready to go by the time they show up on the job.
How was school today?
Mrs. Smith, what are you doing?
Recycling.
You can't put plastic bags in the blue recycling cart. But you can recycle this milk jug. You can recycle stuff from all over the house.
You can recycle this empty box.
What about these hangers?
Just aluminum and steel cans, paper and cardboard, plastic bottles and jugs, glass bottles and jars.
To learn more, check out TulsaRecycles.com.
And welcome into a glorious Saturday evening here in downtown Tulsa as we get set for the first leg of the Black Gold Derby tonight, live from One Oak Field. There you see the records: Tulsa Roughnecks at 4-3-1 on the season, and the OKC Energy at 3-3-1. And before we get set for the kickoff tonight, let's take a look at tonight's starting 11. And we'll start first with the visitors from OKC. Cody Larendi in the net tonight. And Dave will be keeping an eye on Alexi Bossetti, because what an addition that he has been, the Frenchman, to OKC.
He is the playmaker. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this fantastic occasion. And you're right, he is going to make things tick for OKC Energy. And, of course, the man up front, Christian Isley, a great striker in their lineup tonight, too.
Also, Alvin Jones getting credit for that goal the other night that was ultimately the game winner for OKC against Orange County. And now the home side with the Tulsa Roughnecks coming in off the 2-0 victory over the Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. And this lineup will look almost virtually identical to the lineup that we saw on a Wednesday evening, with the buildings in the background as we are almost set for the kickoff here tonight.
And why change a winning lineup? You know, 2-0 win on Wednesday for the Roughnecks. Coach Ancien, unchanged side. We're all set to go. Here we go.
In the net tonight for the Roughnecks, coming off his very first professional clean sheets, is Mason Steidehar, on loan from Orlando, trying to make a comeback in his professional career from battling cancer. Saw the enthusiasm from the clean sheet on Tuesday night, sprinting to the sidelines and celebrating with his teammates as Moses McKinday gets set to throw this one in here with the shadows lurking there off the players at the far end of 1-0 field. There's an opportunity early. Ball that's sent in, no trouble whatsoever for Larendi, but that is a good positive sign for the Roughnecks here in the early going with that service inside the box.
Certainly was. DaCosta, of course, who got the 2 goals on Wednesday night, in there with a header. Good defending, though. Put him off on that header. Great ball in from McKinday, who's at left back tonight up against Omar Gordon. Watch out for that battle tonight.
It will be a tough battle for the Roughnecks, because this back four for OKC, maybe collectively the biggest back four in all of USL, and that is where the Roughnecks have really put the pressure on teams this year with being able to take advantage of set piece goals.
And OKC Energy have made history, haven't they, of having a good back four. One, Cyprian Hedrick, who's now in the Roughnecks side tonight. He was part of that wonderful back four where it was very difficult to score against them. So it's going to be tough for the Roughnecks tonight, but equally as well, you think it's going to be tough for OKC Energy as well, with Malin Roberts and the aforementioned Cyprian Hedrick at the heart of the defense.
Cato had cleared some space for himself. Malin Roberts came over from his central position to clean that one up. Bossetti trying the fanciness here early. Unlucky for him. Here's Gordon. Gordon's not afraid to let one go from out there. He has a host of Roughnecks surround him from the midfield level. That's a Dye who has his pass picked off. Still not out of danger. Ball coming in off of the deflection. Falls to the feet and off the top of the crossbar. An early opportunity for the Energy that is turned away just a tad bit too much on that from Omar Gordon.
Well, I think Omar Gordon, by his own standards, is looking to the skies there, because I think he should have scored. We'll see it here on the Tanksley Food replay. Here it is, the strike there. Steidehar beaten, and the ball hits the bar and goes over. Wonderful chance inside the first 3 minutes for OKC Energy to take the lead, but alas, it remains 0-0.
And a bit of an unsettling first few moments for the Roughnecks back line, and let's see if they can get it turned around at the opposite end. That was maybe Rodrigo DaCosta. Maybe should have been a tad bit more selfish there. Ball comes back to him. Janu Silva is on first opportunity, and Silva has put the Roughnecks in the lead in the early going. Janu Silva scores, and the Roughnecks strike first in the Black Gold Derby.
Omar Gordon a minute earlier could have put OKC Energy in the lead. The Roughnecks go up the other end. Beautiful ball fed into the path of Janu Silva. He makes no mistake. Larendi couldn't get anywhere near it. Janu Silva's third goal of the season. The Roughnecks won, OKC Energy 0.
My, how things change in such a hurry when you do not take advantage. Brilliant ball played in on the ground. Silva found himself at the right angle, slotted it past Larendi, as we see there on the HarscoJobs.com and Tankersley Food replay. Roughnecks looking good early.
And it was a good assist from Rodrigo DaCosta, the man who's really in form. As I said, got 2 goals on Wednesday, now an assist. And those two are going to be difficult for the OKC defense tonight. 1-0.
DaCosta now jumps to the top of the league in assists. That's number 6 on the season for him after scoring 2 goals on the brace on Wednesday night. He now has 3. And look at that service play there. Altamirano, ball dropped in perfectly. As DaCosta there, Altamirano will attempt, cuts back to the inside. Good defending there by Williams, not allowing Altamirano any amount of space.
Yes, he certainly didn't, did he? He got past him once, but then the defender was having no more of that.
Stidehar will have to play. That's a miss hit there from Stidehar. It was going to be unfortunate there on the back pass to him in the first place. Roughnecks doing their best to try to handle this.
Wonderful if you're the lone striker, just to have that opportunity in that space in a derby match as well, I might add. That's wonderful for the young man, Yano Silva, to get that goal.
Silva scored a goal against Fresno on the road. We talked about his importance heading into Wednesday night against Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC, about being that lone striker, and the Roughnecks also needing someone else to step up outside of Rodrigo DaCosta and also Luca Lobo and try to help out with the scoring efforts. And Silva has been able to come to life here in the last several matches. Altamirano, slotted ball through to Silva. Silva on one more time, an opportunity. Larendi comes out and has it, and then cleared off the back line. Silva looking for the brace early, and the Roughnecks right down the middle of the pitch as we get set for a redcrowncreditunion.org corner kick. And here's a look at that starting 11 for the Roughnecks. Silva, the goal scorer, up top with Altamirano. Stidehar in the net.
Unchanged lineup, isn't it, Bob? And they've got off to a flyer here. Here's the corner.
Left-footed in-swinger coming in. Header sent out of the box. Silva will track this one down.
Well, we didn't get a chance to see that replay, but it was almost identical to the goal, wasn't it? There's a free kick as Cyprian Hedrick's blocked off. But there'll be questions asked at the back for OKC Energy, because that's twice now that Silva's got in behind the defence. That was a good save from Larendi, mind.
Foul there on Hedrick, and now one of the more dangerous teams in all of the league will have an opportunity just a few yards to the corner of the 18-yard box. You see the trio of Roughnecks players that are there. Altamirano, DaCosta, now Gonzalez will trot to the right. Referee setting the wall. Has them off at 10 yards. Referee now controlling this action. Eric Tattersall. Altamirano directly at Larendi, punches it away. 2 Roughnecks players were coming in, including Bastidas, just a tad bit late on that run, but a throw-in now up near midfield.
Great delivery, great goalkeeping as well, because it only needed a flicked header here. We'll see on the replay. The ball comes in here, just needs someone to get in front of Larendi, but Larendi didn't take his eyes off it, double-fisted it away.
Well, again, and 2 Roughnecks players running directly through the middle of that defense for OKC, and that's got to be a tad bit concerning, because Oklahoma City felt like that they were just now finally starting to find themselves with that back 4, especially after the clean sheet against Orange County.
Yeah, it's a good point you make. I mean, here's Gonzalez chipping the ball in, nothing doing there. But yeah, Yano Silva's finding lots of space, and Mike Ensign would be absolutely delighted with his team inside the first 8 minutes. Really good start for the home side.
On a beautiful night here in Tulsa.
But it's such a delicate game, isn't it? Because Omar Gordon, just before the goal, had that opportunity where he strikes the bar a couple of inches lower, and it would have been OKC Energy who broken the deadlock.
There you see Michael Ensign, head coach of the Tulsa Roughnecks, interim last year, appointed to the head coach this year. Has really put Tulsa in the conversation at the top of the conversation as far as the league is concerned with the start that they've had so far to this season. Coach of the month in the first month of the season as well for Michael Incian. Eric Tattersall is being extremely direct about where he wants that ball. Get you the names of the other officials here in a second. We'll do that now. Assistant referee Matthew Seam, Tony Obas, and Brandon Query, the fourth tonight. Bosetti curling in towards the penalty spot. Gordon got to it first, just glancing off the top of his head. Stidehar has it easily for the Roughnecks, and they will elect to keep it on the ground here.
And I think Omar Gordon was complaining to his teammates, saying, you know, I got the flicked header on. Where were you running in at the far post? But nothing doing.
Bastidas now tangled up, and this is an area that we will keep an eye on. Tangled up with Harris there. Bastidas is not one to back down from any challenge. A bit quick-tempered as well is Bastidas.
Yeah,
that could be both good and on the negative.
Yeah, 4 bookings, so 1 away from a suspension. So he's got to keep calm, and I think the referee's going to talk to him now.
You bring Harris over as well. Says no more of this. That was simply Harris just trying to shield off Bastidas there to keep him away from that ball. No harm doing, and I think that's exactly what Tattersall is doing right now, just telling Bastidas to, hey, be smart. We're in the early stages of this match tonight. Long way to go.
Yeah, sensible refereeing, good conversation. Really important matchup by these two sides in the center of the park. We've got Rafael Garcia and Callum Ross for OKC Energy, the sitting 2 midfield players. And then, of course, Jeff Adai and Manny Gonzalez doing the same thing for the Roughnecks. Important 4 gentlemen in this game tonight.
Larendi looking for the long service. One there by McKinday. Silva essentially tackled from behind by Harris. That's the physical nature of that back line from OKC. Janu Silva has made a living so far being that lone striker, Dave, of playing extremely well with his back to the goal, coming back and winning those balls. There you see the strong challenge. Colorado didn't start to challenge Janu Silva until about, 30 minutes into the match on Wednesday night, and Silva essentially had his way with Colorado Springs early, and OKC has decided we're not going to allow you to dictate anything here early on.
Well, especially as he's already got that goal and got into some space. So you're right, they're going to be marking very, very tightly now. There he is again, just flicking the ball on, nothing doing there though.
Quickly to the opposite end, looking for the counter. Here's a die. Just enough to stay in front of Omar Gordon. Here on a direct run, Altamirano will have a go from the outside. The deflection off of one of the defenders. Larendi has it. Roustabouts behind the goal feel like that ball was over the byline. Assistant says play on, and now a mistake in the back.
Yeah, it was a good run from Altamirano, wasn't it? He's playing on the right with Bastidas on the left. Da Costa in the number 10 with Janu Silva up front. So both wingers have had a little bit of success here.
Gonzalez looking wide there, not the best effort for Manny. One of those blue-collar players for Tulsa. Foul here against the Roughnecks. And that is Silva, the goal scorer, that is down, writhing in pain. It's like he was holding that left ankle area right there near his guard.
Yeah, there's Manny Gonzalez, who I said is one of the important players because he'll try and disrupt things. And here he is with Rafael Garcia, who's going to do the same thing for OKC Energy. They're the 2 sitting midfield players, and they're going to be important. They break things up and then just roll the ball into those wingers on both teams. who are going to try and get it behind the two defences. Good start to the game. 14 minutes gone. The Roughnecks have got the early lead, but it could easily have been 1-0 with Omar Gordon's shot hitting the bar. So hope Janu Silva's going to be okay, although I've got the thumbs down there, I think, from the physio there.
Yeah, this injury update brought to you by Tulsa Bone & Joint. Tulsa Bone & Joint moving life forward. The thumbs down is there, and the Roughnecks will have to make an early switch here due to the injury of Janu Silva. Got to be disappointing for him to have such an amazing impact and start on the match here this evening. And we will hope that this will not be something that is permanent for the near future, at least, for Janu Silva.
I think what happened was Manny Gonzalez made the foul, and then I think after that the referee had blown the whistle. I think there was some kind of twist or maybe even a challenge, which has resulted in Janu Silva having to leave the field inside the first 15 minutes. So the Roughnecks will have to make their first substitution.
There you see there a little bit of tactics. Michael Encian, also Donovan Rickards over there, Alex Miranda. So Encian now having to rely on an early sub.
It's going to be Uzo that's going to come in. Hasn't had many minutes, has he?
He has not.
Toby Uzo. So big night for him.
Comes over from Colorado Springs.
Certainly a big physical presence.
And a massive opportunity for him as well.
Absolutely. Big night for him. And he is, as we said, probably even a more physical presence, to be honest.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, so far on the season, Uzo, as you mentioned, not many minutes at all. Only his third appearance, and has played 44 so far. And here he is. Harris gets there first, back to Larendi. Sent forward by Larendi, a die with the header back into the box with the slow roll back to Cody.
But it's what it's all about, isn't it? If you're going to be a successful team, you've got to have players that can come in and take up the reins, and that's exactly what Uzo's got to do tonight with his mate Janu Silva off the field with some kind of a leg injury.
There's Luca Lobo, who has gone quiet as of late after the amazing start to the season for him. Still tied for the league lead in goals with 7. Bastidas tried to work there against one of the better defenders.
Yeah, Jones was having none of that trickery, was he? But it is a corner.
First season with OKC is Alvin Jones. Goal against Orange County, the game winner. They initially had credited that to Isley, I believe, and then changed it back to Jones. Here's the redcrowncreditunion.org corner kick. That one all the way through the box, just begging for someone. And the referee will now say, believe that anyone touched it, or the assistant. That's one of those you go back and watch on film, Dave, and say that was a golden opportunity. DaCosta tried to slot it centrally for Bastidas. OKC out of sorts here early, it seems. Not much as far as stringing a number of passes together here in the early going. Most of their attack has been looking for the long ball, either to Gordon.
Yeah, Christian Icy up front has hardly touched the ball inside this first 18 minutes. So he'll be wanting some service to feet.
Boy, Uzo, he looks taller than 6'2", even on the pitch. Gonzalez to Uzo. Nice ball play to the outside. Trying to set it up there was Luca Lobo.
I would say Toby Uzo's done very well since he's come on. It's been a seamless change. Feel sorry for Yanu Silva. Gets a goal and then has to limp off with an injury. But Uzo's done extremely well since he's come on.
Out to Morano. How about that? Still comes away with it. Battling against several Energy members. Uzo against Williams. Good tight defending there from Williams, not allowing that turn.
But again, it's long ball from OKC Energy, isn't it? They haven't been able to get anything into the feet of Bassetti or Christian Isley.
Cyprian Hedrick this week on social media was fired up for this opportunity to face his old club. Steidehar's ball out of play. Hedrick, by the way, one of the only Roughnecks to play every single minute of the season so far. Bastidas with an opportunity. One more long ball there looking. Steidehar has to come out. That took a dangerous bounce in front of Cato. Gordon in the vicinity, but Steidehar out to make sure that he denies them, and then a mistake as he throws directly to Gordon. An opportunity here for the Energy. Bassetti.
Well, slightly bizarre pattern of play there. Steidehar did everything right with the bread and butter, as I call it, of goalkeeping. Just coming out and averting the danger with a nice catch, took his time and then threw it directly to Omar Gordon. And that's just about the last play you want to throw it to. But then Bassetti's ball was overhit and there was an offside anyway. So the young man gets away with it, and he'll want to tighten things up just a little bit from that. You don't want to be the one to give anything away in a derby, my friend, do you?
No, you do not. And need we remind you of the goalkeeping mistake from last year with Fabian Serta, which Oklahoma City was able to capitalize on in that 3-0 victory here at ONEOK. Foul from behind. Antoine McKinde. Cato picks himself up. Native of Trinidad and Tobago, first season with OKC.
Yeah, both him and Jones have represented their country, haven't they? Trinidad and Tobago. Lots of international experience in this OKC Energy side.
27 caps for Trinidad and Tobago. So several appearances MLS for Sounders and San Jose. Gordon outside the box. Good first touch there to keep control. Now harassed by DaCosta. DaCosta feels like that he wanted to throw in. They will go in the direction of OKC, however.
There was a good defensive header there from Malin Roberts, the taller of the two centre-backs. The number 15, him and Cyprian Hedrick have become the preferred centre-back pairing for Coach Ensign.
Bassetti keeps possession. That's a rough one there if you're a die. Jeff felt like that he's got as much right for that ball as what Alexi does. Dangerous spot as well.
Yeah, you don't want to give a free kick in and around the box there, but you'll see here on the replay just a little bit of a heavy tackle from behind. Now, can OKC Energy get something on frame here?
This will be Gordon looking for goal number 3 on the season. Stidehar and the wall be up to the challenge. Gordon approaches with the ball and the placement directly at Stidehar. No trouble whatsoever for Mason, and the Roughnecks will survive the foul on Jeff Adai.
Yeah, and if you're Stidehar, that's a nice comfortable save, isn't it, after his mistake just a minute ago. And Omar Gordon didn't get what he wanted on that ball, did he? But OKC Energy just getting themselves into this game a little bit more.
Foul to the opposite end as we're now in the 26th minute on the goal by Janu Silva. Give the Roughnecks the lead. Then he went off on injury around the 13th minute, did Janu Silva.
Now, I'm sure Steve Cook, the coach from OKC Energy, has talked about this with Mr. Lorendi and co. about the delivery that's going to come in here.
Well, and Lorendi's having to deal with that sun in his eyes as well. The shadows have not quite crept all the way down below eye level for Cody Lorendi. Easy ball played in towards the back post. The header sit over the top of the bar by the defender, and that means a corner. Red Crown Credit Union corner. There were 2 Roughnecks that were there. And we'll see here on the replay on the ball played in by DaCosta.
Yeah, good defensive header away. There were 2 Roughnecks players lurking there, as you said, Pop, and it could easily have been 2-0.
One of those was Malin Roberts. Glancing header from Cyprian Hedrick, who does have a goal this season.
And Cyprian, by his own standards there, will say he was 12 yards out, unchallenged, and could have done better with that one, I think.
Be sure to tune in on Wednesday, April 30th for the ESPN USL Championship Game of the Week on ESPN3, featuring the new expansion side, Memphis 901 FC, visiting the 2-time defending USL Cup champions Louisville City FC. It's the week's best match on the Game of the Week, April 30th on ESPN3. Look at some of the possession numbers and stats so far. Game that is seemingly, possession-wise, might actually surprise you. Just 51% for Tulsa. Thought that number might look a tad bit higher here in the 28th.
Yeah, I think if you're OKC Energy fans tuning in, you say, you know, they've had kind of almost 50% of the possession. You'd say, okay, they have, but they haven't done a lot with their possession. It's been knocking it around kind of in their own half. And certainly the Roughnecks have had the better of the possession in the final third, and they've created more chances on goal. But a long way to go in this one. I mean, if you compare the 2, you know, number 9s, I say number 9 in positions, you know, I know Silva had the first 15 minutes. We'll break off here.
Bastidas keeps it alive. Tulsa will slow things down a bit here now. McKinney. Hedrick keeps the dribble alive. Out wide. Bastidas had that one knocked away Looking for DaCosta. Not much doing there. Still pressure, though, coming on from the Roughnecks as Larendi will send this one out of play.
Yeah, the point I was going to make was about the two centre forwards, the two number 9s. Christian Isley, who I rate very, very highly, has hardly had a touch of the football. Now, all good goal scorers only need 1 or 2 chances in a game, and they get on the score sheet. So don't count. I'm not counting him out by any means. But in the first, 30 minutes that we're coming up to now, the two Roughnecks centre forwards have had more touches of the ball. And
there's Steinhardt that comes out of his line, and this one is going to be saved off the line. It will be. McKinday, as Steinhardt had come out to try to clear that one away. Another missed chance by the Energy, and McKinday has officially saved the lead for the Roughnecks.
And that's almost exactly the point that I was making. Christian Isley there has hardly had a touch of the football, and there he is. Could easily have scored. We'll see the replay here. I think you'll find that it was a bit of a misunderstanding. The ball holds up a bit, hits Hedrick, and there's Isley, and he could have got more on that, but he didn't get enough on it, and McKinday it was with the clearance.
On the replay, you saw Cyprian give the sign that he wanted Steinhardt to come out, and I think he thought that he might come out with a little bit more pace. There's a foul, and is that one going to be right at the edge of the box?
And I think Marlon Roberts could be in trouble with a card here. I think it'll be a yellow card if the referee chooses to even speak to him. Christian Isley there, exactly what we were saying in commentary. He's now on fire. He's had a touch of the ball. He's got himself into the game. Watch out for him now. Yellow card this will be for Marlon Roberts for the challenge from behind, just outside the area.
So Roberts into the books here in the 31st. That's the second yellow card on Marlon Roberts. There you see Alexi. So far, this is his 7th start on the season. Remember that France team that won the FIFA U20 World Cup in 2013?
And I think that's a little bit of Gallic nous, I would say, because he's certainly opened that ball up a little bit on frame, because he's placed the ball, I would say, about 3 or 4 yards to his right from where the foul was committed. I think he's got a better angle here.
Rossetti's ball. Off a header and a goal. That's Omar Gordon. And Oklahoma City has leveled at 1 here in the 32nd minute. And Gordon immediately goes to members of the grid that have traveled down the turnpike for the celebration on the goal. And we are tied at 1 at One Oak Field.
Well, you'll see the delivery here from Mr. Bassetti. As I said, he opened it up a little bit more. Clever play from him, first of all, to place the ball just 3 or 4 yards wider. It took a deflection, and that man in your frame now, Omar Gordon, scores with his head. He hit the bar early on at 0-0. Here he is. Here's the ball in. There it hits the wall. And there's Omar Gordon with a good leap and a good directed header. No chance for Steinhardt in the Roughnecks goal. And we're back at 1-1.
McKinday had saved them a few moments earlier, but Gordon got in better position there in front of McKinday. And the derby is officially back on, my friend.
Yeah, it is. And it just shows you a little bit of confidence for your number 10 and 11 up there. Mr. Isley getting himself into the game. Bassetti hasn't really been in the game as much as he would have liked. And here we are at once because they are in the game now.
Bastidas against Jones. So difficult to get a turn on. Amazing that he got that ball away. Altamirano to Luca Lobo. Lobo had his pocket picked. Header attempt on the service in the box, just out of the reach there of Bastidas. Gordon took a tumble. Lobo now. Williams out on the challenge against Lobo. Tulsa's work rate at the midfield point, Dave, has been pretty impressive so far here tonight. Quickly on the transition. Too much, as Steidehar has it. Right idea from Cato, just a tad bit much on it, trying to fit that ball through into Isley.
Interesting as well, we talked about Isley and Bassetti for OKC Energy. I'm sure Coach Ensi will want Altamirano wearing 11 and Fabian Bastidas wearing 21 on the two wings to be more involved in the game, and they have been just in the last couple of minutes.
Who's up, who's down? Where does your club sit? You can find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings, only on USLChampionship.com. Derbies are the best. The intensity, the passion. It fuels all the best human emotions and some of the worst human emotions.
Wherever you go in the world and you watch this wonderful game played, you want to see a derby game. You're absolutely right. It brings the best and the worst out of people. That's a foul by Jeff Adai, who will get a yellow card. That's his second foul of the night.
Do you agree with the yellow?
I can see why the referee has given a yellow card, because I think Jeff Adai had a foul before. I think he might feel a bit unlucky, although he was pulling at the shirt and shorts of Mr. Bassetti, who, as I said, is a dangerous customer. 2 yellow cards now for the Roughnecks.
Can't say that I'm the fan of the reaction there from Alexi Bassetti. Slapping the turf. A little bit of that French flair. This is almost the exact same spot that Jones scored on at Taft last week against Orange County. Jones with the approach. That one well wide of frame.
There's really not a lot to choose between these two teams, is there? Based on the evidence of the first 37 minutes here. 1-1 the score, and that's about right with chances on goal. Not a lot to choose.
You know, we were talking about the human elements added to a derby like this, the best and the worst, whether that be jealousy on one side, maybe and this series domination is the word so far by OKC. 9-3-3. McKinday's ball to Altamirano. No trouble whatsoever near the post for Larendi, who has it. Now he wants to settle things down.
Well, DaCosta felt he was pushed over in the box. Kind of half-hearted appeals. Referee was having none of it.
Good effort by Cyprian Hedrick coming over to challenge Mr. Gordon. Third goal of the year after Omar Gordon scored earlier. 18 caps with Jamaica's national team.
I think this guy taking the Red Crown Credit Union corner here, Mr. Bassetti, has really got himself into the game and has been the difference in why OKC Energy have been able to come back into this game.
Steidehar. The question about Bassetti so far has been fitness level in just getting acclimated into OKC's lineup, and they feel like that maybe now he's just to that point where he can go a full 90. DaCosta has some time against Jones.
That was good quality defending from Jones.
He's been that way the entire season for them. So difficult to get around. Coming up at halftime, we'll talk about the gentleman's bet between the two mayors, Mayor Holt and Mayor Bynum. Brought a little bit of excitement to Black Gold Derby this week.
Yeah, they didn't exactly say what would happen if it's a draw, did they?
They did not. Both of them are in attendance. Maybe we can get a word with them and find out exactly what the ruling would be on a draw. A die with the challenge. Lobo off of Williams. Williams to the turf. Lobo. The ball slotted perfectly. And we have an energy player that is down.
Well, Lobo got a bit lucky with the first challenge. It's Harris who's down, by the way. I think it's, it's Cato that's down. But Lobo put in a great ball, and Harris it was with the defensive clearance as you'll... Well, there's the challenge. That's a fair challenge, by the way. That's Jeff Adai just catching Cato. He didn't mean to do it. There's no malicious intent in that challenge, and thankfully Cato's okay. But it's good defending from Harris with Uzo lurking there to try and get a tap in.
Throw into the Roughnecks looking for Uzo. Out to DaCosta. Roughnecks are wanting a handball. They are now pleading with the official.
Well, it'd be interesting to get a replay on this one.
Tattersall is having none of it.
I think it was accidental would be my first view from a long way away with the naked eye. We'll see. This is where it's going to happen. DaCosta there. I'm not sure we're going to be able to pick that up with our shot there, but I think it would have been very harsh if it had been given pop, would be my opinion. Be interesting to see the new ruling next year, won't it, with the silhouette ruling of handball. What if we'll get a view here? Well, that's totally accidental, and you cannot give a penalty kick for that, in my opinion. That's Rafael Garcia there. That would have been extremely harsh.
Fans, you can follow the Roughnecks and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, and UFC. Plus more. You can join in on over 2 million sports fans who've already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Tulsa probing for another. Bastidas. Uzo with the follow. He was tangled up with the defender, and a foul will be now called on Uzo.
Well, that was a wonderful piece of play from Bastidas, but it was wonderful goalkeeping from Cody Lorendi, who we know is a top-class goalkeeper. You'll see this on the Tanksy Food replay here. Here's the wonderful piece of play from Bastidas. He'll shoot here, and Lorendi sees this fairly late. Look, between the legs of a defender. That's a great save from the goalkeeper to keep it at 1-1.
And by the way, good on Bastidas there, because Bastidas is known to go left and try to get towards the byline, and he set up Alvin Jones there completely. You saw Alvin Jones cheating there to that direction, and that's what allowed Bastidas to cut back to his right to get that shot off.
And it's what I said in the commentary a few moments ago, is that Coach Enciam wants Alto Moreno and for Fabian Bastidas to be in the game and going up the left and right backs of the OKC Energy defense. Very important to the cause.
Costa thought that he caught one up in the face region, turned and looked to the official. McKinday. Gonzalez through the center circle. Luca Lobo. Our Osage Casino stoppage time. We will have an official number here in a moment.
It's a great game, Pop, isn't it? It's a great advert for the USL Championship League. It's a really good game, this one. It'd be a brave person to predict the outcome. Both teams really want the 3 points in this Black Gold Derby.
Adai comes in between Cato. Good turn there from DaCosta. Three minutes of stoppage time will be added. Altamirano, little bump. Finally sent forward in front of Isley. Gordon couldn't get there from Garcia. McKinday. Tell you more about Mason Stidehar. Of course, the local side, very familiar with his story, but on loan from Orlando after having battled cancer. Was diagnosed with cancer in 2017, spent all of last year going through treatment, trying to work his way back to the MLS level. At one point was the 4th rated player via Top Drawer in the country. Lazy ball there from Roberts. Hedrick out to challenge Isley. Now with Lobo and a foul. Rafi Garcia.
This will be the final action of the game. It's just a slight late challenge there from DaCosta, I think it was. But this will be the last action of the first half. Referee checks his watch.
Ball sit in towards the penalty spot. It's the second time now that Rodrigo DaCosta has found himself in a heap. Steedis tried to switch fields, unable to do so, and that may do it for the first half. The whistle there from Eric Tattersall, and that will do it. First 45 and 3 on top of that in the books. And just like the Black Gold Derby should be, knotted up at 1. Goal in the 31st minute there from Omar Gordon. Janu Silva strikes first for the Roughnecks. He is then injured and had to be subbed out. And that will do it for the first half. Roughnecks and OKC level at 1. We'll take a timeout and come back with more from One Oak Field in downtown Tulsa next.
My name is Abigail Bailey. I was at my yearly checkup when I was 12, and we went and got x-rays, and she diagnosed me with scoliosis and that we needed surgery as soon as possible.
Tulsa Bone and Joint was very compassionate. They took their time with us. They answered questions. He was very encouraging.
Dr. Clark helped me see that there is life after spinal fusion. Just because your spine is fused doesn't mean that you can't do what you love to do.
I'm Chad Smith with Becco Contractors. As an employer, we're always worried about new employees coming to the job and not being aware of their surroundings and just not knowing what they're really doing because it's a new job site. So the partnership with Tulsa Tech has really helped us take that worry out of the equation. We know that they're fully trained and ready to go by the time they show up on the job.
What does it take to be a champion? Skill, strength, vision, an unrelenting desire to prove your worth week in, week out. An army of fans behind you screaming your name. And sometimes just a bit of luck. For 631 games over the course of the next 9 months, 22 players will step on the field to answer the question, why will it be you and not them? And the 36 teams, from the champions of yesterday to the challengers of tomorrow, only one will be right.
Flemings around 1, around 2. Still Junior Flemings. He's going to have a go. Excellent from Junior Flemings. Here's Spees looking for the curler, and what a save from Curtis Anderson. Guadarrama wants it himself. What a goal for Guadarrama.
The cross deflected. What a stop by Brown in the top corner. Another chance here for New Mexico, and they've got the equalizer.
Chadama will strike it with his right foot. Whistle blows. Steps. Strikes. And saved by Rodriguez.
Here's Woodbine. Into the box. Van Schake's there. Van Shake.
For Louisville. And again, Callum Irving grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck as Ben Spees lets one fly. And
wants to attack, shooting and scoring.
It's saved by Caldwell.
Collier.
Yes. Knock back towards Spencer. Brilliant finish.
The flick. Could it be two? Yes, it is. That's Hellman.
Here's Banks. Banks from distance, and that's knocked away.
Gallardo. At the top of the box. Lee gets a touch, still driving and sends it. And into the back of the net.
It's like Joe Gallardo took almost on the entire defense there. Step left for the shot.
Chipped in, headed away by Lockby. Second chance coming, diving, stopped by Fitzgerald.
Minnesota and with Jacksonville. Nunez, and that finds the side of the net. Most of these, he takes this one.
How was school today?
Mrs. Smith, what are you doing?
Recycling? You can't put plastic bags in the blue recycling cart. But you can recycle this milk jug.
You can recycle stuff from all over the house.
You can recycle this empty box.
What about these hangers?
Just aluminum and steel cans, paper and cardboard, plastic bottles and jugs,
Glass bottles and jars.
To learn more, check out TulsaRecycles.com.
Go, Mike. Go. Go!
Welcome back to the Black Gold Derby between the Tulsa Roughnecks and the Oklahoma City Energy on a beautiful night in downtown Tulsa at One Oak Field. There is the backdrop that we have here from One Oak Field, which a game that has been, I think, fairly played from both sides. Dave Saunders, that gives us our 1-1 score at half.
Yeah, I think it's been a good game. It's been full of a few, fouls as people are trying to get control of the football, especially in the middle of the park. I think Oklahoma City Energy have come back into the game, having gone 1-0 down, and I think it's about fair, 1-1 at halftime.
Well, the storylines here on the local front, this Black Gold Derby has been dominated by OKC, 9-3-3. As a matter of fact, the only year in which Tulsa has owned the wrench was in 2017, the playoff year for the Tulsa Roughnecks. Oklahoma City won the wrench back last year, an opening season tie, 1-1, followed by a 3-0 victory here at One Oak Field. And we had talked early in the program about what it takes for Tulsa to win that wrench back, and it goes a long way by getting a result here this evening. We also want to mention about Mason Stidehar getting his first pro clean sheets. And we saw the emotion when the whistle blew on Wednesday night. He sprinted directly to the sidelines to be able to celebrate with his teammates, and that is such a good feeling, knowing what he's trying to come back from.
It certainly is. I mean, we said in commentary on Wednesday night, it's great to get the 3 points, but the next best thing, of course, is to win it with a clean sheet. And he did sprint at the final whistle, didn't he, to his teammates and hugged every single one of them, it seemed. So congratulations to him, and I think he's got a very, very bright future ahead of him.
Diagnosed with localized Ewing sarcoma in 2017 and spent all of last year on the season-ending injury list there from Orlando and on loan this year. And I'm hesitant to continue to bring that up. It is a great story, but I don't want that to be what defines Mason Steinhauer. What should define Mason Steinhauer is how he continues to live and perform for the rest of his life moving forward. And then our two mayors. They got a little active with each other on social media this week. GT Bynum looking fresh to death in that Tulsa Roughnecks jersey. Then Mayor Holt there from Oklahoma City. And both of them buying into the Black Gold Derby this week. If the loser of the Derby, and keep in mind this is just the first leg, will have to go back home in the opposite team's jersey as mayor and take some photos in front of some local monuments and then post those. So there is a lot on the line as far as reputation is concerned between the two mayors, and they are both here in attendance tonight. Team of the week from the championship side. Quite a group. Dane Kelly. Does Dane Kelly ever age?
I don't think he does. He's a fantastic player. Whatever shirt he's wearing, he's just one of those great players that everybody who follows the USL will know about.
Langsdorf as well from T2. What a great start to the season for him. LaCroix there in the middle from Reno, 1868. Restrepo. Wow. Incredible for Austin Bold in the start of the season at the championship level in 2019. Let's take a look at the team of the week from League Two as we are at halftime here at the Black Gold Derby. You see Russell and Nunez there from Wisconsin and Madison. Their very first home match today was actually played with snow on the ground, and they were making a joke of it. There's nothing more Wisconsin than having your home opener have snow on the ground there with the Madison side. It's great to see this game continuing to expand all across this very vast and great country of ours. And now we'll have a look at some of these scores from out of town here at halftime with the Roughnecks and OKC level at 1. See some of the fans out there on the lawn. Busch scoreboard bar as well there in the supporter section. Sacramento and Phoenix later on tonight at 9:30. El Paso and Reno. That's an 8:30 start. From earlier today, North Carolina FC, the 4-1 victory over Hartford Athletic. Tampa Bay and Charlotte knotted at 1. Nashville, the 2-1 winner over the Riverhounds from Pittsburgh. And Birmingham and Loudoun at halftime are scoreless.
Yeah, look out for North Carolina FC, one of our old friends, Steve Miller, playing for them. Hartford Athletic have had a dreadful start, haven't got a point, they go bottom. North Carolina up to second.
Or scores from last night, Fresno FC in Orange County ended up at 2-2. New Mexico and Portland ended in a 3-3 draw. And Austin Bold, the 3-2 victory over Real Monarchs SLC from last night. And I think we'll be set here for the standings in the West. Timbers 2, 15 points coming off of the draw last night. Mexico United at 14. Tulsa right there in third in the West table with 13 points. And Oklahoma City tied up with not only Sacramento and San Antonio, but Los Dos as well with 10 points. But OKC currently right now setting in 9th. And if this were to hold up, both sides would add a point to their total here in the Black Gold Derby.
Yeah, it's been a good start for the Tulsa Roughnecks here at One Oak. They've got to do something on the road, and of course they're not going to be home in the whole of the month of May, so an important month for them. And OKC Energy, they want to build on that victory against Orange County, so they're getting their season going as well, which sets us up for a great second half. Pop, and here we go.
So if you're Michael Ensign from the Roughnecks perspective, what was your message to your team at halftime?
Well, I think you've got to look after the front two, Isley and Bussetti. I'm sure he's had a word in the ear of Malin Roberts and Cyprian Hedrick and said, let's get tighter, because that's when Oklahoma City really got started in this game, is when those two got going.
And from the opposite side, from OKC.
Yeah, from the opposite side, I think you've got to get the two wingers, Mr. Bastidas and Alto Moreno, quieter. I think they'll be looking at that.
Luca Lobo has been far more involved, Dave, tonight in the offensive attack from what he was on Wednesday. It seems that Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC had made it a point that they weren't going to allow Luca Lobo to dictate anything. As we see DaCosta inside the box, the ball is there and just by the post. Oh, Uzo was oh so close to adding one, and a brilliant ball from Rodrigo DaCosta, as we see here on the replay.
Yeah, brilliant run, and as you say, a brilliant ball. Look at that hit with pace, and Uzo there is just half a yard. If he'd been half a yard quicker, and I'm not blaming him because he had to go in at that time, at that speed, because of the brilliant ball that came in, it would have been 2-1.
Both teams now, Dave, essentially point-blank opportunities as Hedrick has his hands full. And a quick save from Allen Roberts to poke it away at the last minute. Ball still, though, in possession by OKC. Good slide there from McKinday against Gordon. Good help back as well. Not allowing Gordon to turn that corner. Service inside the box. Isley was there. Steidehar had to go up. One-handed palm.
And there again, you see, as we were talking about in the first half, the quality of a great striker. And I rate Christian Isley very highly. And that was just a half chance at goal. And Steidehar has to make a save.
Somewhat of a slow start from Isley, but he has been one of the key pieces tonight for OKC. Roberts giving him plenty of space. Headed back in. DaCosta tried the bike. Maybe caught a piece of Jones.
It's one of the mysteries of the great game of soccer, isn't it? That when there's a high foot in the middle of the park, the referee has to give a free kick. And when you see brilliant goals scored, like, sorry to bring it up, my friend Gareth Bale in the Champions League final, you know, with no one else around, it's deemed okay. That one, he did, that was a foul, and that was a right call from the referee.
Just about at the point that I was emotionally past Gareth Bale.
And I have to bring it up again. Well, you're in the semi-final against Barcelona this week. So mouth-watering games this week. They keep coming thick and fast. This wonderful game we see played across the world.
We were marveling at the two teams at the top of the table there in the Premiership, but just how much they have dominated. DaCosta tried to cut it back across. Good defending to not allow that ball to find its way back to the penalty spot. RedCrownCreditUnion.org. Corner coming up now for the Tulsa Roughnecks.
Yeah, and it was Callum Ross there who made the interception. He's the sitting midfield player alongside Garcia. Good interception. But that's twice DaCosta's now got him behind the defense.
Bastidas. Could it be Lobo one more time? It's Uzo. There's an awkward moment there from Uzo, trying to figure out what he was going to do on that first touch, and quickly to the opposite end, looking for Gordon. Hedrick able to track back and step in front of that ball.
But you know, there is a little example of Mike Ensian's stamp on this team. Uzo there, the one he had to make the challenge, but he is the centre forward and he ran all the way back to defend. And that has been a trait of Mike Ensian's teams. You win together, you lose together, but you're going to work together.
Bastidas Uzo. Williams got the clearance, and here's Adai. Adai will have a go. The worm burner that they say was actually touched.
Interesting there from Rafael Garcia, the experienced man. Of course, went and won the cup with the MLS Cup with LA Galaxy, didn't he, twice? He was having a go at the Englishman there, Callum Ross, saying you've got to shut these guys down. That was Jeff Adai with a free shot on goal.
Red Crown Credit Union corner. In swinger is there. Boy, Lorendi was a force. I love the vision of Bossetti because that's twice now that he's hit Gordon. Gordon past McKinday, slots it there, and a save from Steidehar. Williams.
Well, there's a couple of things I want to say about that. First of all, this is the first time that Omar Gordon has seen green ahead of him. Look at that, and you don't want to give that man any space. What a great ball in is that, and what a great save is that from the lad who we were talking about at half-time. He's got his first professional clean sheet. That's an amazing save, but you don't give Omar Gordon that space of One Oak in this game.
Because that's exactly what he can do, and an even better ball there looking on Cato, or looking for Cato on the run through the box. Steidehar timed it perfectly.
Just shows how quickly this game can ebb and flow, doesn't it?
Well, that's twice now, and there's another one there from Bossetti. The vision from Alexi, 3 times now. Unfortunate for OKC there in the offsides position, but essentially with 1 or 2 touches, that ball is gone from Bossetti. Incredible vision in that moment, no matter if it's at a diagonal or if he's going to play it square. And it almost resulted in another strike when he found Gordon just a few moments ago.
He's the number 10 playing in the number 10 position, and he makes them tick, doesn't he? He's the lad that's got to be in behind Mr. Isley there. And as we said, he got himself into the game halfway through the first half, and that's why they improved as a team. And it's 1-1, and he's got that great vision.
And it's truly an effortless ball from him as well. Cato. Time here for a die.
That's the sign of a great player, Pop, isn't it? That somebody can make it look effortless and can see passes that other people don't see. And that's what he's got.
OKC has found themselves a potential star. And if you're an OKC fan, you might want to cherish this opportunity, because we could be looking at a young man that has opportunities at the next level here with MLS. Has really kind of settled into the Oklahoma City culture as well. I've seen him at some Oklahoma City Thunder games. He's a basketball fan. I believe he was at a couple of OU basketball games as well there at the Lloyd Noble Center.
And that's what fans love, isn't it? AJ Jakwa has done it, hasn't he? He's thrown out a pitch or two, I think, at One Oak for the baseball, for the Drillers as well. It's what the fans love. Well, I hope everybody's enjoying this on ESPN Plus, because this is an amazing game. And it's end to end, and we said it'd be a brave person to predict the score in this USL Championship game, the Oklahoma Derby.
'55th minute.
Do you think the two mayors are still talking? Do you think they're sat there biting their fingernails?
If I know GT Bynum, who I see him at a number of University of Tulsa events, GT grew up going to University of Tulsa events and gets really excited during any athletic competition. I'm sure that this is one where he's on the edge of his seat. Here's a dive with the curler, easy for Larendi.
Yeah, good effort from Jeff Adai. He's had a couple of goes at goal now.
Look at Omar Gordon with the Jets as Hedrick had to come over, use that body, got just enough of a shoulder into him because Omar Gordon was shot out of a cannon.
Well, San Antonio fans will know that Omar Gordon is one of the quickest around, and OKC Energy fans are appreciating him here. You can see Larendi's clearance there, and like you said, just absolutely sprinting onto that one, and Cyprian Hedrick's no slouch by any means.
Well, credit to Cody because that ball on the one hop into the box for Gordon to run onto it. Red Crown Credit Union corner kick for the OKC Energy. Good work there from Roberts. Throw in deep.
I think Malin Roberts has had a very good game at the heart of the defence alongside Cyprian Hedrick. Having to work hard against Bossetti and Isley, of course.
You know, we were bringing up Bossetti. He just kind of has that special nature to him. Reminds you a lot of what we saw here in 2017 with Jorge Corrales. Every time that he touched the ball, Dave, and has found himself a nice home there in Chicago. Steidehar in front of Isley.
It's just a sign of a quality player, I say again, when you can make it look easy, but also you can produce passes that maybe other people don't even see. And he is one of those players. He's a dangerous, dangerous customer.
Adai has found himself on the ball quite a bit so far here this evening.
Yeah, and someone like Jeff Adai is doing the same as Callum Ross is for OKC Energy. They're trying to win the ball, do the ugly stuff in the middle of the park and get it to the likes of DaCosta if you're a Roughnecks fan, and the aforementioned Bossetti if you're an Oklahoma City Energy fan.
They're going to catch Luca Lobo on raising his foot.
Yeah, you don't see many of them. Don't see many of them in the professional game,
no.
Mr. Tattershaw.
That's like a traveling in the NBA. Very rarely see that. See the officials tonight with Tattersall. Gordon, the shot.
I think if you're Steve Cook, you're absolutely delighted that Omar Gordon is getting a lot more space to play in. And if you're Coach Ensign, you want McKinday to get tighter to him, and maybe a little bit of help from Mr. Bercidas as well, because Omar Gordon is finding a little bit too much space from the Roughnecks point of view. But you'd be delighted if you're an OKC fan watching this with Omar Gordon in this form.
You can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for the Roughnecks and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on the Roughnecks' next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Altamirano. Fancy footwork from Christian Altamirano. Results in a goal kick.
Good play from Altamirano there, and a nice moment with Williams as Altamirano wanted a corner and Williams said no way, I didn't touch that. We'll see it here on the Tanksley Foods replay here. Altamirano there beats him twice, and there's no ball hitting Williams' leg there at all.
Williams made 27 appearances for the Richmond Kickers last season. 20 caps for the Trinidad and Tobago national team for Mikael Williams. 8th start of the season.
Yeah, he's a good player. I like him. He's left back there wearing 55, and he's got his hands full with Altamirano, who is a good player, as we know. Good battle.
Gordon. Tracked down here by Cato. Lobo is still down. Looks like he is holding the back of his left leg. He is up and going. Here's a look at the Eastern Conference standings here at the championship level. Tampa Bay Rowdies with 15 points. St. Louis 14. Nashville there with 10. And you mentioned North Carolina. Good start to the year for them.
Yeah, I think they've moved up from that table actually to second. So good start for them. They're getting going. Great setup there. I've been there myself. Good setup there.
Bassetti looking for Omar Gordon one more time. Blocked away by a die. Somehow Cato split the two defenders. Couldn't get past the third one, and Christian Altamirano will send this ball up the touchline. Fans a bit disappointed in the assistant pointing in favor of OKC. Our assistants tonight are Matthew Seam, Tony Obis, and Brandon Query is the fourth official. Steiderhar's had some big moments tonight for the Roughnecks, especially here in the second half. Uzo got turned around. So far, the majority of this half has been played on the Roughnecks side. And you get the sense that, Gordon, Bassetti, Cato in there with Isley, they're starting to really feel themselves right now. They're in a decent rhythm.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think the tide has turned a little bit in the favor of the men in white tonight, OKC Energy. But it's still 1-1. That's the important statistic. I think Cyprian Hedrick's gone down there.
Nice turn there from Muzo. He's able to shield the defender off. DaCosta. Gordon coming back to potentially help. Leaves it there for a die. Altamirano headed away in front of Larendi. Back out to Christian, splits the two defenders, left-footed ball off of Callum Ross. Oh, DaCosta with the footwork. Bastidas was upset. And quickly we go back to the opposite end. Cyprian Hedrick, by the way, is up.
Yeah. Offside there against Christian Isley, as you said. Cyprian Hedrick's up, but what footwork from DaCosta. But
I agree. Look at that.
Yeah, I agree with Bastidas, though. He did all the hard work, and then he could have just played the ball in there to Bastidas, who was upset.
That's not a good sign there from Cyprian Hedrick, where he has that right hand almost inside in that groin area. Hopefully he is okay. 65th minute. Garcia's ball. Harris. the center circle, Altamirano, who in tight spaces has proven to be maybe one of the best dribblers that we've seen in quite some time here at Tulsa. That's a dangerous ball.
I agree with you in that last attack from him. He just went between two defenders as though they weren't there in a tight space, as you say, inside the box. Dangerous customer.
We'll have a sub coming up for the Roughnecks. Be their second on the night. Intercepted.
Oh, that's good refereeing again. There was a foul on Garcia. I think it was by a die. And the referee just saw, was there any advantage? There wasn't. And so he's brought it back. Sensible refereeing. I think he's had a good game again. I like to praise officials when they're good, and Mr. Tadashaw's had a good game. Here's the substitution.
And here is Mr. Ejekwa, who comes on at the 66th minute, almost about the same time as Wednesday night, Dave Saunders. And the previous game at Fresno was in the 75th, I believe, or 76th. So about 10 minutes earlier now for 2 games in a row for AJ Ejekwa. And the most important aspect is that he had an immediate impact and led to the first goal for the Roughnecks on Tuesday night.
Yeah, he certainly did, and he's slotted into that number 10 role. Rodrigo da Costa goes into the middle of the park with Jeff Adai. Roughnecks still with that 4-2-3-1 formation. Pretty similar to OKC Energy, play a similar system.
Jake was a change of pace as well. Gordon.
Yeah, AJ Ejekwa's had to be content with little parts from the bench, hasn't he? He's one of those what we call impact players, because there he is being fouled, and he does make things happen when he comes on.
See a Jake with there smiling with Garcia. Missed opportunity there for the Roughnecks, and Roberts attempting to switch to the other side. Stepped in front there by DaCosta. Stetis. Adai, center of the pitch. Lobo with options. Uzo tried to turn, cleared away by Garcia. Bit of a heavy first touch there from Uzo. Easy call there. Bastidas hacked down. See there some of the OKC Energy players up. Ejekwa on the dead sprint gets there in front of Jones. Shouldn't be any trouble for Larendi. Took one hop in front of him.
I think the ball was out then.
Going to say the ball was out back.
McKinday was the driving the ball in there. It's just gone a little bit quiet for both teams now. I don't think the players will mind that too much, but a lot at stake here. Delicately poised at 1-1.
Getting at that time where mistakes are costly. We saw last week Oklahoma City against Orange County. It was a tale of two halves. 12 shots in the first half and then really settled in. Orange County had a lot of runs at OKC there in the second half, especially in stoppage time when Larindy came up big. That has not been the case so far. Stuyvesant there with the select ball. It's the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, they've been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com.
This is the phase of the game when every player needs to be thinking. They need to be concentrating, not wanting to make the mistake that allows the other team in. Just under, 20 minutes to go. The second half has flown by.
We're going to see another switch here.
Callum Ross is coming off, the lad from Newcastle in England. He's worked hard, I think, in the middle of the field, or is he just going to have a drink there, actually?
Yeah, this is Bastidas, whose night is over, and we will see Akil Barrett.
Well, that's a like-for-like swap, isn't it? Akil Barrett, who's known to Tulsa folks here, having played locally for the Tulsa Athletics. Very quick, tricky winger. He's gone on the left there. Altamirano remains on the right. I just wonder whether Altamirano might fancy go on that left-hand side and maybe Akil Barrett on the right, because that's more his familiar position.
And there's Deshaun Brown, who is back, coming off of an injury. And that's a substitution for Bossetti. So Deshaun Brown, the leading scorer for Oklahoma City Energy. And there had been rumors and questions about when he would come back. He had been training even into last week for Oklahoma City. And now makes his appearance here in the 74th.
Yeah, and he goes into the number 9, wearing number 9, and it puts Christian Isley on the left of the 3 in the 4-2-3-1.
Much there from DeFont. Stuyvesant. Skyward ball. Here's Barrett in his first opportunity. Hacked down in front of the OKC bench. We do have an OKC player that is currently down as well. $3,260 in attendance here this evening.
It's interesting, isn't it? At the end of the day, you know, it's 3 points up for grabs, but it just seems like it's more than that, isn't it? You know, you win the game, you get 3 points, yes, but you get the bragging rights against your closest neighbour. So a lot at stake here. 1-1. Just seeing the replay here.
That's Cato. He's holding this side of his jaw. there was any intent there.
A little bit for the referee to sort out here. He's having a word with the fourth official. Just getting a little bit of advice. But it will be a free kick to the Roughnecks for the foul on Akil Barrett.
Gives me a chance to remind you about the game of the week. You can tune in on Wednesday, April 30th for the ESPN USL Championship Game of the Week on ESPN3, featuring the expansion side Memphis 901 FC and the two-time defending USL Cup champion Louisville City FC. It's the week's best match on the Game of the Week, April 30th on ESPN3. See if we can't get a look at some of the statistics so far on the night. Roughnecks were looking for a foul call as McKinday was up off the back line. Look at the replay here. Tankersley Food Service. Like the ball was away at that point. Almost feel the nerves starting to kick in throughout the entire stadium.
Yeah, it's got that feeling, hasn't it?
It does have that feeling that it's kind of on the point of having an explosion, and that is a dangerous mistake there in the back end by the Roughnecks. Results in a corner now coming up for OKC. A little miscommunication there. You see a die. That was Cato in there, as we get a chance to see on the replay.
Yeah, Cato making a nuisance of himself here, and then Adai hits the ball there into Akinde, and in the end it results in a corner, a Red Crown Credit Union corner for OKC Energy here.
Cordell Cato sends this one in. Cleared away. Altamirano. Professional foul there, and a yellow card there from Garcia into the books here in the 79th. Don't mind that. Stopping the flow of play.
And I think it wasn't just for that foul. I think there's been a few others, and I think it's one of those kind of central midfield bookings that we see.
Well, that's one of the last Tulsa players that you want to have the ball on their foot in a position like that. Christian can go in a hurry. Trying to find Uzo. Got a piece of it first with his chest. Adai to McKinday. Ajakwa gets to it in time. Right-footed cross that's there. Uzo with the header. And a foul, as the referee will say that Uzo came up over the back of the two defenders that were there. Boy, Ajakwa showing some speed to get to that ball before it got to the byline.
That's what we say. AJ Ajakwa is an impact player. He's come on, he's impacted the game, and he did extremely well there to get the ball into the box. But I think it's a correct call from the referee. Here's AJ Ajakwa there, just drags it back onto his right foot. Beautiful ball in, but you'll just see a bit of a bundling challenge there. In the olden days, that would have been a fair challenge, but not these days. Good call from the referee.
An instance where Uzo's doing anything that he can in that moment to get to the ball. That's the first real sense of any type of attack from the home side in the last few moments. battle there between Garcia and Ajekwa. Uzo is a bigger frame than what Janu Silva is. Both of them use their bodies extremely well, and we've seen multiple instances now of Uzo doing exactly what Janu Silva has done for the Roughnecks so far this season. And especially against that physical back line of OKC, they have some size as well, and Uzo has held his own. Here's Gordon.
That was a great header away, but a pretty good acrobatic overhead kick there from Isley to keep the pot boiling there.
Wasn't anyone on that far side. Felt like it was for naught. Gonzalez. Head of steam, will now dump it off. Curling ball. Good header here. Altamirano will get there in time. Williams will come down to cut off the angle. Ball out. Larinde. And Ajekwa now against Cato. Tough challenge there. Referee says play on. DaCosta was calling for it. Hedrick.
Good attacking play from the Roughnecks, but equally as good defending from OKC Energy. No quarter given in this derby. So we're going to see another substitution.
And this is going to be Kyle Highland for Isley.
Well, Highland's a defender, isn't he? But I'm wondering whether he'll push on more on the left-hand side. So come into the midfield. Experienced campaigner, of course. He's played in a few of these Oklahoma
several
black and gold derbies. Knows what it's all about. Good professional. And he's done exactly that. He's gone. It's like for like in terms of the positional sense.
Native of Bay Village, Ohio.
Well, 7 minutes to go. You'd normally get a chance, a clear-cut chance. There's normally one more clear-cut chance towards the end of the game.
Akil Barrett working against Jones. Finds Ajekwa. Ran into Cato, who had dropped back. Here's Gordon on a full sprint, and Hedrick has to take him down in that moment. Earns a yellow for it. Omar Gordon is upset. He wants more than a yellow. Felt like that Cyprian deserved it. And the Energy players are trying to plead their case. But Cyprian Hedrick there did what he had to do.
You don't want to see it, but he did what he had to do. I don't think it's a red card because I think there was another covering defender. That's what the OKC Energy boys were asking for. We'll see here. Was there a defender coming across? Well, you could argue it both ways looking at the replay.
Lobo had an angle, but was maybe a step behind or so. Difficult call in real time.
The other thing that referees have to take into consideration is the distance from the goal. Omar Gordon is quick, and he was a long way from goal, which means that another defender can, in theory, get back. But
10 yards past halfway, maybe 15.
But we've seen red cards given for that.
Garcia has his hand raised. Puts this one in play. Headed away, and then the attempt from Highland. I think that would have been wide right from about 35. No such luck getting drafted today as Kyle Highland in the NFL.
Well, obviously, if you're Steve Cook or Mike Henson, you're desperate for the 3 points, but equally as well, you don't want to lose this game. So delicate for all the players and the coaches here in this black gold derby.
Barrett one more time settles, turns. There's a Jake on a run towards the touchline. McKinday looking for Uzo. Finds its way to Altamirano, and the foul now.
Again, physical presence play from Uzo, but I think the referee said, come on, no more of those challenges or I'll have to put you in the book as well.
Yeah, DeFont was extremely upset. Coming over from Phoenix. Positive sign for OKC is that this man right there that just was dispossessed of the ball has had quite a night, and he's going to be a handful for everyone. Here he is again on a run following behind Cyprian Hedrick, and if OKC ultimately wants to remain in the top 8, a lot of that responsibility is going to fall to Omar Gordon.
Yeah, he's an exciting player, isn't he? And he's had a good game tonight. A little bit quiet by his own standards in the first half, but he's really got the more space in this second half and given McKinday something to think about at left back for the Tulsa Roughnecks. 3 minutes to go. Is there a winner for either team?
Back heel effort there from DeShorn. Jakewell almost was able to sky in the air. Gordon with some space, slots it through, looking for DeShorn Brown, and DeShorn slams it into the side of the net. Both hands immediately to the top of the head. That could have been one of the last few remaining chances here in regulation for OKC.
Well, when you see Omar Gordon picking up the ball in that kind of space, that gives Mike Ensign something to think about. You'll see it here on the replay that there's a great ball threaded through, but before we saw that replay, he picked up the ball in space. Now, obviously, McKinday's got to be tight to him in the back four, but then you look at the likes of Akil Barrett, who's got to come back and help out a little bit. Difficult for Akil Barrett, of course, with 2 minutes to go as well. But that was a big chance.
And it was a good ball there from Omar. He also puts the defender in a compromising situation, because in a position like that, you expect him almost, as he's done the entire night, to run directly at the defender. He gave up that ball early, and now Tulsa will go into the books. This is a Jakewell.
Yeah, that was a big foul on Omar Gordon, and it was the point that I was alluding to a few moments ago. It's the likes of Jakewell and Akil Barrett that just have to help McKinday out, because Omar Gordon is one of those players that two players need to mark, especially late on in the game.
Getting close to our Osage Casino stoppage time. The tight marking moments here in the back for Tulsa. Wasted opportunity there for OKC.
Yeah, wasted for OKC, and if you're a Roughnecks fan and you're a Roughnecks defender, you're glad to see that one go away.
2 minutes of time has been added on here at One Oak. Will there be a game winner? Roughnecks scored extremely early in the 3rd minute on a goal by Janu Silva. OKC answered back in the 31st. Uzo almost being dragged down from behind. Thought the referee might give them advantage for a minute. Roughnecks still come away with it. DaCosta has Adai. Miscommunication there between Jeff Adai and Rodrigo DaCosta. To the opposite end goes OKC. Hedrick, after that slide, has to hustle back into position.
Long throw from Mr. Highland coming up.
Almost a turn there for Akil Barrett. And now a foul directly in the center of the pitch in an extremely dangerous area.
Yeah, this is what you want if you're the away side here. Oklahoma City Energy. Chance on goal. Central. And I think we're going to see Mr. Jones have a go at goal here.
Mr. Jones has a lively leg as well. Scored last week against Orange County. Looking to send the away side back down the turnpike with 3 points.
With possibly the last kick of the game as well, Pop.
Could be. Wall being placed. Here's Alvin Jones. Approaches. Blasts it directly into the wall. The wall did its job. Still not out of the danger area yet. And that will do it for the first leg of the Black Gold Derby. We finished tied at 1, and both teams will come away with a point. Here at One Oak Field in downtown Tulsa, as you see there, the coaches embrace both staffs. Will feel like that the job was accomplished here this evening and not giving up one late.
I think at the end of the day, it's just about the right result. I think both teams kind of settled a little bit, I think, with the chances in the second half. Just with some of the substitutions that were made as well, I think both coaches will be happy to come away with this one without losing the game. It was a good first half, probably a better first half, a second half devoid of chances, but both keepers had to make some saves, and it's been a good contest, and players are shaking hands.
August 3rd, 8 o'clock at Taft Stadium will decide who comes away with the wrench in the Black Gold Derby as we finish here in the first leg, tied up at 1. There's Janu Silva, who has a walking boot on that left leg after the injury that he suffered earlier in that game. And we will hope for the best when it comes to Janu Silva, that is not something that will cost him a significant amount of time. Final score is 1-1. Let's take a look at the highlights from tonight's action here at One Oak Field. It was a beautiful day as we started, and things got going early. And here is that opening goal with Janu Silva as he beats Larindi to the opposite side. And that was a quick start for the Roughnecks, Dave.
Yeah, and from the defensive point of view from OKC Energy, they will be upset with that because Janu Silva just got into space that he shouldn't have got into, especially early on in the game. Great for him. Unfortunately for him, he had to limp off with a bit of an injury after that. I think he had another opportunity in a similar position, but it got the Roughnecks off to a good opportunity. Good start in the game.
Here's some of the quality battles that we saw all night. There was a penalty or a foul just right outside of the 18-yard box, and one of the first cards that we got tonight that went to Malin Roberts. Roughnecks were able to survive there. Here's another yellow, this time on Alexi Bossetti as he goes down, and Adai goes into the books.
And this was the time when Bossetti and Isley were getting into the game. It was towards the end of the first half, and it was really good, and it led in effect to the OKC goal here. Omar Gordon with a great header, and that tied us at 1-1 at half time. So because of those two gentlemen, I think OKC will say that's when the tide turned a little bit for them in this game.
Yeah, and that was just played directly off of the wall from Bossetti. You see his reaction to Omar Gordon on the finish. That on the season was goal number 3 for Omar Gordon. Tulsa, though, still not done. Several more opportunities for them, including this one. Here's Bastidas. Watch this save from Cody Larindi.
Yeah, that was a great save because it came through some players. But then here's into the second half. Omar Gordon, look at this for a save from the keeper, keeping it at 1-1.
So 2 great saves there from both keepers. And that was Omar Gordon, who was a thorn in the side of the Roughnecks almost the entire night. Cato that close to having the game winner. Roughnecks to the opposite end.
Yeah, AJ Ajekwa, the substitute here with a great ball into the box, but this was just a little bit too physical from Uzo, the number 9. Here is AJ Ajekwa. It's done well there to get the ball into the box, and there's the header, which is just a bit too physical for the referee's liking.
But Ajekwa again making his presence felt, coming on as a sub here for the Roughnecks.
Yeah, he's a good player to bring on, and that seems to be his role in the squad at the moment. So good play from him. But that was ultimately the last chance for the Roughnecks.
And here is Gordon, and the foul here by Cyprian Hedrick. Oklahoma City thought that warranted more than just a yellow, but it stopped the flow of play. Cyprian patted him on the back after that foul. Oklahoma City could not take advantage of that, as you see the anger there from Omar Gordon. And the Roughnecks are now shaking hands with members of the supporters groups that are positioned behind the goal here at a One Oak Field. Well, it was a great one, Dave. First leg of the Black Gold Derby, and it did not disappoint.
It did not disappoint. There was a good atmosphere here. Both sets of fans here in numbers, and there are the Roughnecks who got off to the great start. They were pegged back by a strong Oklahoma City Energy side. Honours are even. The Mayors get to keep their respective shirts, and we'll do it all again in August.
The next 4 are on the road. Maybe the most important stretch of the entire season for the Tulsa Roughnecks, at Reno, at Austin, at San Antonio, and at Las Vegas, before they are back here against Austin Bold on June 1st. So it will be more than a month until we see the Roughnecks back here at One Oak Field. Thank you so much to the great production crew for all of their great work, the camera crew for the great shots this evening, and for all of you tuning in on ESPN Plus, we want to thank you. For my partner Dave Saunders, I'm Jeremy Poplin. Final score for the final time, level at 1 between the Roughnecks and the Oklahoma City Energy. Have a good night from all of us here in downtown Tulsa.
What are you doing?
Recycling. You can't put plastic bags in the blue recycling cart, but you can recycle this milk jug. You can recycle stuff from all over the house.
You can recycle this empty box.
What about these hangers?
Just aluminum and steel cans, paper and cardboard, plastic bottles and jugs,
Glass bottles and jars.
To learn more, check out TulsaRecycles.com.
In about 8th grade, I realized that my knees really were hurting, and I ended up tearing both of my patellar tendons in several places.
Dr. Stanley and Tulsa Bone and Joint, he gave us all of our options, explained them, and we knew walking out that we were in the best place possible for her. From a mom's perspective, without Dr. Stanley, without his staff, we would not have been able to give her her senior year.
I'm Chad Smith with Becco Contractors. As an employer, we're always worried about new employees coming to the job and not being aware of their surroundings and just not knowing what they're really doing because it's a new job site. So the partnership with Tulsa Tech has really helped us take that worry out of the equation. We know that they're fully trained and ready to go by the time they show up on the job.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.